without receiving the white flag, but now the flagman is reaching for it, and he will receive it next time around. Bloom car, incidentally, pulls into the pit area, and Jeff Bloom is out of competition late in the event. Steve Kinzer in turn number 3, still keeping that car up very high on the racetrack. We could just barely see him move through the dust. He receives the white flag, and Steve Kinzer has less than a lap to go before winning 2 of the 4 races here at Eldora this weekend. He already has won this sprint car race and is well on his way to victory in the championship dirt race. He's got a lot of cars in front of him, but he's going to take it very easy here in turns 3 and 4. Keeps the car this time to the low side of the racetrack, and Steve Kinzer wins the Silver Crown Championship dirt race. The battle for second is a Goodman. Meanwhile, let's see if Larry Rice or Gary Bettenhausen is going to take home second. Here it is, and it's Larry Rice second. Gary Bettenhausen finishes in 3rd position. 4th is going to go to, as they come down, let's see, I believe it's going to go to Jack Hewitt. Yes, Hewitt finishes, and right behind him is going to be Mark Alderson. So Hewitt 4th and Mark Alderson 5th in the championship dirt cars. Well, 2 out of 4 for Steve Kinzer here this afternoon as he takes home the 50-lap prize for the championship dirt cars. Great race, Gary. No yellows, which is, I would say, rather unusual due to the fact that the track was so hard and slick, and the fact that we had a lot of dirt out there and dust.
This has been one delightful day. The racing crowd has been very good. The racing has been very competitive, and I am amazed that the track has held up as well as it has. It's very slick, very hard, but not ruddy.
Well, I think it's a credit to Earl Balthus, the owner of this track, and the preparer of it. This is the win now of Steve Kinzer. He comes down to take the checkered flag, but meanwhile out in turns 3 and 4, a great battle for second.
Up on the high side is Larry Rice in car 55. Down low, his old nemesis driving car number 1, Gary Bettenhausen. They are locked in a duel right now, side by side, but right now Rice has that right outside rear on the cushion, standing on the pedal, and Gary has to slide up behind him to take 3rd position.
And so Larry Rice finishes 2nd, but finishes 1st in the point standings. Larry Rice is the Silver Crown champion for 1981. Meanwhile, Steve Kinzer has climbed out of his race car and is receiving the congratulations of the tremendous crowd gathered here at Eldora. The official results of the Silver Crown race: Steve Kinzer, your winner, Larry Rice 2nd, Gary Bettenhausen finishes 3rd, Mark Alderson 4th, and Jack Hewitt finishes in 5th place. Well, we will be back with some interviews with the competitors here this afternoon as we wrap up the 4-crowned Nationals from Eldora Speedway in Rossburg. Back in a moment. Gary Lee.
They call this guy the King of the Outlaws. 3 times he has won the World of Outlaws title. And this season, he simply made a shambles of the championship dirt division within Usac. However, Steve, you're driving on, what, a Phase 2 license, which means you can't run for the points championship.
Yeah, it's a Phase 3 license, which just allows me to come in and
take the prize money.
Well, so I hope, but sometimes it doesn't work like that. It just allows me to come in and run for no points, and that way I can run any place else I want on the same day, and you know, I wouldn't be fined or anything like that.
Now, before we talk about today's go, let's mention that in 4 outings with this division this season, you have won 3 times.
Yeah, I won 3 times. I won once here and then once at the Indianapolis Fairgrounds. No, twice here.
Twice here.
Yes, and once at Indianapolis Fairgrounds, and then I ran a 5th at Williams Grove in Pennsylvania.
And today, coming from the back of the pack, this is the ride that we normally see Rich Vogler in. Rich, of course, is recuperating from that nasty flip at the Terre Haute Action Track in the HUD 100. And you were called in to run both the sprint car and the championship dirt car and made the best of both races.
Yeah, we had somebody else qualify the cars yesterday. I was at Syracuse racing, and we drove all night, came back, and I started on the tail, and everything worked real well for him.
We talk about the glamour of racing. A guy like this, I can't tell you how much this guy wins every year, and he is driving back from New York and not flying and sleeping in the back of a pickup truck, right?
Well, I had a flight back, and I went ahead and canceled it. We figured we'd get back just as quick by getting away from all the rides to the airport and from airport and catching a plane here and a plane there. So instead of that, we just came straight back.
And this ride today from the back of the pack, you were using, I think, a groove different than the rest of them. You were doing all your passing by going low into turn 1 and then letting the car slide all the way up, and many times gave us a scare, and I think gave the guy right behind you a scare.
Oh, well,
how about you? Give you a scare?
Well, the only thing that scared me was the guy I slid up in front of. It scared me if I gave him enough room and, you know, didn't make him too mad at me or anything.
You have to know this Eldora Speedway like the back of your hand, but today the visibility was just horrendous.
The open wheel cars allows us to get the right rear up in it, and there's powder up on the wall, and then when you get up there, it was throwing the dust up and stuff, so it made where you couldn't see real well and stuff, especially coming out of 4. It was just a cloud of dust there, and there was probably 50, 100 yards, maybe you couldn't see anything.
It had to be a wing and a prayer drive because, as you say, you could not see anything. It was a matter of looking well down the racetrack and hoping that nothing developed right in front of your car.
Yeah, the best thing to do was when I'd go into 3, I'd see how much space I had between me and the other car, and look ahead of that, maybe see if nobody was in trouble, and if everything was clear, you get pretty well straight and just run through the dust straight, and then when you can see again, take off again.
And that's exactly what he did all the way to the checkered flag. Stevie Kinzer from Bloomington, Indiana, winning the championship dirt division go here this afternoon. Bob?
And what a race driver he is. And our congratulations to him, but also our congratulations to Larry Rice, who does not compete on the same type of license that Steve Kinzer competes on. And Larry Rice goes not only for money, but also for points. And because of that, Larry Rice's consistent performance in the championship dirt division this year has won him the championship. And also, we must say that it's certainly too bad for Rich Vogler, who was leading the point standings going into this race, but of course was unable to compete here this afternoon because of his injury suffered at Terre Haute. And we wish Rich the very best in his recuperation and certainly hope to see him back on the racetracks next year. We'll be back at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio, as we wrap up the 4 Crown Nationals. What you want. Seen a lot of racing action this afternoon. The Usac midgets were the first to compete on the track, and when they competed, Gary, the track was in pretty good shape. Not a whole lot of dust. Ken Schrader, of course, won it. Let's talk about that Usac midget race.
It's very clean, very good competition. It was not surprising to see Ken out in front. I've seen him win in the midgets, the sprint cars, both outlaw and the sanctioned races. In the stock cars, the guy is a fine chauffeur in any type of wheels.
And in the Usac Silver Crown Championship dirt car race, that was the last race to be run, and by that time the track had deteriorated a little bit. We had a lot of dust, but still Steve Kinzer able to see through the dust on to victory.
What a driving seminar. The guy is just incredible. To a Usac fan, he's an outlaw, if you will, but he comes in and wins 3 out of 4 appearances in a championship dirt machine this season, and was using the wall as a billiard cushion, bouncing off through the turns. An incredible ride.
Of course, we saw a very bad accident in the sprint car race, which was held also here today, that you will see in its entirety on a later show. But really no serious accidents in either the midget or the championship dirt, so that kind of surprised me because the champ dirt cars are much faster and larger, and of course they're competing on a relatively small track.
I was pleasantly surprised, too, that the track did hold up. Indeed, the groove was up high against the wall, but the track was, for the most part, smooth.
Good afternoon, everybody.